Podcast.
Podcast.
It's that time of the week again. We're gonna talk about
Yeah,
some
again.
random shenanigans. I'm Tommy,
I'm Kayla.
and welcome to the Rebel Retrospective.
Alright, where should we start this week? Because it's fresh in my mind, I think we should start with this week's Irredeemable. Would you like to introduce it?
Yes, I would. It was my suggestion.
It sure was.
And this week we're going to be talking about Robin Hood 2018.
For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Irredeemable is where we take a TV show or a film that is generally disliked but we love it, or vice versa, a film that everyone seems to love and we're like, it's overrated. Anyway, This week is Robin Hood, and you love it, right?
So, as I said, a little bit of background. I planned to go see this in cinemas. I never got around to it.
Right.
And then it came out on Netflix, and I watched it. And yeah, I do love it. I mean, it's trash, but I love it.
Okay.
So well, it's not trash. That's unfair. It's no work of art. I think is a better explanation.
So I have mixed feelings. Okay, so first up, I really love the plot and the characters and the way that it's presented in general. Love all of that. It's a trash film, but trash in the best way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to overthink this film. It's cool. It's got Taron Egerton in it. He's hot. It's also got, I can't remember her name, but she's also hot.
And
it's easy on the eyes.
While we're at it, Jamie Dornan doing his natural Irish accent.
Yeah.
Which is also brilliant.
And also Tim Minchin's in it, and he's great, so...
And speaking while we're on actors, the villain is played by Mr. Villain himself, Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
Australian actor, not doing an Australian accent, unfortunately. But
it would have been so weird. He's
almost always a villain, so it kind of works that, like, he's just the villain because he's the villain, and it works because the actor is also just always known for being a villain. So it's kind of like metally funny.
Okay. Do you want to know where my problem is? Because I always have a problem. My problem is with the costume department.
It's that he's not green, isn't it?
Oh no, gosh, no, no, it's not that. Okay, so
because he's blue. Mostly.
No, it's not even. I don't mind the blue actually. I think the blue looks cool.
Yeah.
No, my problem is that so right from the beginning they're like, we're not going to give you a year. So you're going out from the start that this is a quote unquote timeless piece. The time frame isn't supposed to be exact. However,
you know it's the Crusades. That's all you know.
You know it's the Crusades. You know it's the Third Crusade. They very specifically say the Third Crusade, which is at the end of the 1200s. Well, it's at the end of the 1100s, so the end of the 10th century.
Yes.
Which gives us a time frame. Now, I know a little bit of something about medieval dress, and that's not it.
So, I think you brought this up perfectly because I've watched this film, I think, 3 times now.
Okay.
I've watched it once myself, once with one of my friends at university, and then the third time this week. Watching it this week, for the first time I noticed that Marion, when she is... there's a scene where Locksley goes to church, he like pays a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And then Marion like corners him. And I was just there and I was like, wait, Marion's wearing just like a modern day leather jacket?
Yeah.
She's wearing like a biker jacket or something?
Yes.
What?
Okay,
what?
so
what?
So she says 3 times in a row because I have feelings. So there are 2 parts to this. One part is the set design and one part is the costume design. I think the plan was to make it feel like no particular time era. I understand what they were going for there. However, if they were trying to do that, they shouldn't have referred to the Third Crusade, because that gives us a time reference. It could have been any war. You could have referenced any war. It doesn't have to be the Third Crusade. But they did, which means that they should hold on to some semblance of the Middle Ages.
Yes.
Which
and
means
not put the sheriff in what is clearly a modern day overcoat.
Yeah, and firstly, they wouldn't have had that colour of leather. Secondly, I'm pretty sure that's actually pleather as opposed to leather. And thirdly, they wouldn't have that kind of cutting style. Like, come on.
No.
Come on. So, and also, a lot of the architecture is entirely wrong. They've got these iron panels at some point. That's not a thing. Like, the whole of the mines, not a thing. Most of the town, not. The only thing that I'm not actually annoyed about is maybe the manor, but it's a bit more Victorian than it is medieval.
Well, I've noticed these things, and I kind of just put it down to like the narration at the start, where he's like, "Oh yeah, you think you know the story, but actually, you don't know it at all. Everything's different."
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that was kind of where they were going. So it wasn't meant to be like our history. It was meant to be like this alternative history.
I agree with you, but also if they wanted it to be like a timeless piece, as it were, because you can do that with costume design and set design.
So I just, since you're talking about timelessness, Gotham, the TV show Gotham, my favourite TV show, does it perfectly. Timeless art. It's brilliant. And when it's done correctly, it's fantastic. I try to replicate it and I can't.
For example, there's a show on Netflix which is This Is Not Okay, and they also do timeless to a certain extent. So it's like, is this set modern day? Is this set in the 80s? We're not entirely sure. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But this... Okay, and the costume designer for this is Julian Day, and I looked him up because I was like... Okay, is this guy an amateur? No, he's not. He has worked on a lot of films. He was a costume designer for Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocketman.
Oh my god.
And also he did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which shows that he knows how to do historical accuracy, because I also looked up the costumes for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And the costuming for that is pretty solid. It's accurate for the century. Why then?
So you don't like most of the costumes, but do you like Robin Hood?
No, hold on. I love the costumes. I think the costuming was great. Okay. I think there could have been... Okay. I'm split about this, you can tell. Yes. So, had they fully gone with the timelessness of it, right, then it would have worked. The costumes would have been great. Yeah. If they hadn't specifically been like, the Crusades, it would have been fine. But because they did, I was expecting, medieval dress. And there was none of that. And I understand why they did that, because it's awkward to make, and you're going to have all these people on your ass about accuracy. Hi. But the costumes themselves are really good. I just wish they had gone that extra mile to cement the timelessness instead of being really lazy about it. In essence, I loved the costumes. I just thought that if
the costumes are beautiful.
They are.
Like, in terms of what
but I just think that, if they were going for, what decade is this, then they should have stuck to that instead of talking about the Third Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on to Robin Hood.
Yes.
We've established you like the costume. The blue doesn't bother you.
It doesn't.
I want to take a minute to talk about archery.
Okay.
Because, I'm an archer, for those of you who didn't know.
I know a thing about archery as well. We've got a longbow in our garden.
Somewhat accurate archery.
Oh, hello.
In terms of there's a scale, and sometimes archery is really unrealistic. Sometimes I think this is realistic. I remember having in my head that I feel like it's something you could do.
Yeah.
like all the archery in this, with the exception of there were kind of 3 points I want to make. So the first one is there's a shot that was in the trailer where he like does a like no look shoot, and he's like, "What else you got?"
Yeah.
And that's a bit unrealistic. You can't. It's not very easy to do it without aiming. Like, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So that's a bit weird, but the rest of it's all pretty good. I don't like the crossbows that the villains have at the start.
Yeah.
They have like these rapid fire crossbows, and that's a bit like, okay, you just want it to be a machine gun, don't you?
Yeah.
But then the whole idea of like a SWAT team with bows is, I think, really fun.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cute. So yeah, from an archery perspective, I was really happy with this. Yeah. And I like that they give him a better, like, he's like using his old bow that's like a bit useless.
Yeah.
And they give him like a proper one, and it's got like I don't know what it's called, but like on the riser it's got like an extra bit, so you hold it and it's got like a guard in front of your fingers.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I know one of the people I do archery with has one like that, and they're really good. So yeah, archery realism.
Woo.
Totally on board with that. That was really good.
Yeah. I enjoyed staring at hot people for 2 hours.
I mean, yes, that is. Yeah, that's definitely the one part of it. I really like Two-Face, or Will.
Yeah.
As he is, because he basically became Two-Face.
Yeah, I am.
And it's clearly setting up like a sequel series. Apparently there are like 5 of these. Apparently, Jamie Dorman's been contracted to do 5 of them.
Oh wow.
So that's a thing.
Is it bad that I'm kind of looking forward to the second one?
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of it.
Yeah. It kind of feels like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, for one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in this version of the story, the sheriff that we meet isn't actually meant to be the sheriff of Nottingham in the story, because that's Will, surely.
I don't know.
Like going forward, because like the whole thing is Robin Hood is already Robin Hood when he starts messing with the sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah.
So surely the actual sheriff of Nottingham that is going to be like the sheriff of Nottingham is Will.
Yes. Yeah. I see what you mean.
So that's really interesting. Yeah, I really like it. I really like this film.
Yeah, I am. In general, I think it's a very well shot film as well. I really enjoyed it.
Also, I don't know about the historical accuracy, but the whole, like, some rogue and corrupt people paying both sides of the war.
Oh, that's completely
seems
accurate.
Totally accurate, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's 100% accurate. People have been using money and pitting each other against other people for centuries to try and get what they want. It doesn't often work.
You know who it reminds me of?
Go on.
Palpatine.
Oh yeah.
From Star Wars.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just what he does, basically.
Ah.
Also, I like that the whole thing about like how Loxley is the mask and not Robin Hood. That's really good. I love that. That's really good.
I think it's accurate as well because
yeah.
It's...
And you get the sense that he always was like that. Like even in the flashbacks before and when he was at war, he was still being the good guy. Like he's always been the good guy.
Yeah, that's like consistent characterization. What the fuck?
Who were we talking about? Oh yeah, Jason in Power Rangers. Always being the good guy from the start, and that's a good leader. And yeah, I like the bit at the end where the sheriff's like, "We'll catch Robin Hood," and then he just shoots an arrow through the wanted poster.
Yes.
And I'm just like, that's Robin Hood.
I kind of feel like I'm kind of in two minds about Will, because on the one hand, I kind of get where he's coming from. You know, he was doing okay. He was doing things his way, and then this random, well, basically his girlfriend's ex turned up and
Yeah.
was like, "I'm back now, bitches," and basically did his job but better. But at
Yeah,
the same time,
basically.
he didn't have to be a bitch about it, because like Robin
I mean, yeah,
was
that's
being
true.
pretty nice to him about it all.
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
dude,
yeah.
grow up.
And yeah, my last thoughts on the subject.
Okay.
So this movie is basically Batman Begins, but for Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
literally is. It's just Batman Begins, even down to like Two-Face. There's a Two-Face thing, which is like would be the Dark Knight,
Yeah.
and that like yeah, but also it's very Arrow, which is no bad thing.
No.
I love Arrow, but like even they're like calling him like the Hood or the Vigilante,
Ooh.
and that's what you call the Arrow in Arrow.
I'm gonna have a talk about material and hoods. Right. So I understand why they decided to like take all these hoods and like staple to them to the walls, basically, right?
It's a symbol.
It's a symbol. I get that. That being said, if we are talking, you know, kind of medieval-ish era, which we have to presume we are because Third
Is
Crusade.
it where did the hoods come from?
Firstly, where are the hoods coming from? That's not really a question. That's just people are making hoods. That's not a big question. The question is,
Okay.
where are they getting the material? Material was horrifically expensive. You do not just
Yes.
get rid of material like that. Material
Yes.
up until like, you know, the end of like the 20th century was still 19th. Up until the end of the 19th century, material was not an abundant resource. You use material until it dies, basically.
Yes.
You don't
Yeah.
go around cutting out small bits for hoods. What
No.
you doing? No one has
Okay.
no one has the material for that. And I just remember sitting there like a few hours ago being like, what kind of fucking peasants are these?
Okay, so to wrap up the point, let's talk about the most stupid thing in the entire thing.
Okay.
And it's a case for every vigilante related thing.
Yeah.
One that I've tried desperately hard to avoid in my own projects. But when Robin comes back
Yeah.
and he has nothing, like his house has all been like demolished, he even says like we don't have any money or anything.
Yeah.
And then they go and rob the money off of the bad guys.
Mm.
And then he goes around flaunting all of his money.
Yeah.
How does not how does the sheriff not turn around and be like, we took all of his money? How does he have money? Oh, he's just come back. This hood's shown up. Oh, Robin is the hood.
Yeah. That's a good.
That was
that's a good
not
point.
difficult. It's a case with every vigilante thing where someone like Batman or Arrow, they both come back from somewhere and then start being a vigilante.
Yeah.
So in Arrow, the Green Arrow specifically gets himself arrested and then does something to prove that he's not the Arrow, so that like they ignore that fact. Like they realize that it's going to be him.
Yeah.
So he something to get himself arrested and then prove he isn't.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And then Batman's just weird because Batman comes back from fighting across the world and then he just sets up as Batman and no one thinks twice.
Yeah, because it's Bruce Wayne, and why would Ponzi Bruce Wayne be Batman?
The rule of Batman is that everyone knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. Just no one cares or wants to admit it because they see him as a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
So like Commissioner Gordon always knows, but never doesn't care who's under the mask.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's more to
But
do with him being
in
a
this-
symbol as opposed to a person.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this, great, all the peasants, they see him as a symbol, they're stapling hoods onto walls or whatever. They don't care who he is. But the sheriff does care.
Yeah.
So he won't be blinded in that same way. So it's kind of a bit like, it's the case with every vigilante story. It's the same problem all the time, but it's kind of unavoidable. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, it's your ruling, redeemable or irredeemable.
I think we're gonna rule this as, drumroll please, redeemable. I love this film.
Fantastic! Everyone go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's not even that long.
It's only like
It's
2
great.
hours. It's fine.
Yeah, it's great.
So, moving on. Talking of realism, I have been watching something that isn't animated. I know. What? I've been
Surprising.
I know, right? So I haven't had very much time to watch things this week. I've been very busy playing games, and I've been busy. Okay. Anyway, so I've been catching up with Magic for Humans, which is by Justin Willman. So Justin Willman's a magician, and the whole series is like a lot of little sections kind of put into one. So it's generally him going and doing street magic, and he's really good. His whole like magician style, I guess, is like dad jokes, but magic.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic. But the reason I really like this, well, there are a couple of reasons. Firstly, Justin is a babe, and he's really sweet, and he's actually funny, which is nice. But secondly, it has a tendency to, in each episode, it'll visit a couple of, like, places that are doing, so either, like, charities or places that are doing good work, and just sort of, they don't even put it as, like, a, come to these places, guys. It's just, he'll sit down with the owners or whatever and be like, so what do you do? And then he'll do magic around that.
Okay, yeah.
And it's pretty good, and it's very funny watching people react to it. And I don't know, it translates through the camera as well.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I think it's on its third season now. Yeah, third season. The episodes are only like 20 minutes long each, but they're really good. So if you like magic and you like something funny, then I would very much suggest it. That was Magic for Humans.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, what have I been watching? Well,
That's a good question.
for those of you that were here for episode 0, which is none of you,
It's just me.
it's just Kayla.
Yeah.
Definitely her fault. Wasn't my fault at all.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
So I was watching Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
It's a reasonably old show. Ended
Yeah.
around 2018, and it's all on Netflix. So I was like, lockdown, everyone's a bit bored. Why not? So a couple of weeks ago, I was watching that, and it was kind of a bit. I found it a bit slow to start off with,
Yeah,
honestly.
it is a bit slow to
And-
begin.
And I was kind of watching it maybe one episode every couple of days. Like, I was watching it really slowly.
Yeah.
And then my exams finished, and I was suddenly watching like 3 episodes a day or whatever.
Okay.
And then we hit a bit of spoilers here, probably. I don't know, but anyway, we hit the finale
Yeah.
of the first season, and suddenly like everything ramped up. I was like, yes, here we go. Everything's going crazy, and suddenly I was hooked, and I like couldn't stop watching. Hooked being a little bit of a pun there. So yeah, it's gone absolutely mental. I'm on season 3 now, and oh boy, is it just everything's crazy. Yeah, it's like conspiracies of everywhere. People are changing sides. People are not who you thought they were. And it's like, oh my god, what's going? Everything's going. Like, I completely lose track of like how far into the season I am, because like so much is happening.
Yeah.
So, for example, in season 2, there's like, there was like this running arc about a character, and then you think it's gonna last like the whole season, but then no, like that story like ends really dramatically like 3/4 into the series, and
Oh,
you're
gosh.
like, oh my god, and then more crazy stuff happens. You're like, oh my god, what what is going on? Yeah, it's been really good, and the acting is fine. Robert Carlyle is doing the best job, as you can imagine. But
Well, of course.
it's and I've decided that I just don't like all the good characters, like all the
Oh.
like goody two shoes characters. It's just ugh.
Well, of course, that's you.
But everyone else is really good. And there was a moment where I saw Snow White with a bow and arrow, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Nice. So,
That's pretty cool.
as always, you're a sucker for a bow and arrow.
I do. I just like a bow and reminds me of myself.
Yeah, I know.
That's all, and it's like it's been like a recent thing in the past year or so that it's become like a prevalent thing where I just like a bow and arrow.
Well,
Really
they've
good.
always been pretty cool, but you know.
Now that I can fire one, it's a lot better.
Usually we do this near the end of the show, but I am ready for some showdown throwdown.
Wonderful.
Alright.
So usually I try to relate it to what's going on,
Mm.
but I didn't want to end up with a Hawkeye, Robin Hood, Green Arrow thing.
We should explain what it is.
Yes. So Showdown Throwdown is where we take 2 or more characters and we put them into a standard football field and ask them to fight. Sometimes they fight, sometimes they don't.
Sometimes Tommy asks me to date them instead. Normal things.
Yeah, exactly. It's a perfectly normal segment. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
So, this week I was inspired by some work that I did midweek on which Kayla will know, on
Yep.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
It's a pretty cool poster.
Yeah, so I did so. Anyway, so I have some Scott Pilgrim themed
Ooh,
Showdown Throwdowns.
hell yeah. For those of you not in the know, which I guess is most people listening, Scott Pilgrim is like in my top 2 favourite films. So
It's amazing.
this'll be fun.
And I realised today that I have the same colour hair right now as one of the characters, so there's that.
That's fun.
Anyway, so I've tried to take some characters and match them up with some other characters.
Wow, that was descriptive.
Some might consider similar in
Okay.
certain ways. What kind of ways will you have to see?
Yeah.
So to begin with, we have Lucas Lee, X number 2.
Right.
Wait, is 2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. Versus someone very, very similar to him, Steve Rogers, Captain America.
It's almost like it's played by the same actor.
You might want to wait till the second one before you say that as the rule.
Oh no.
But anyway, Lucas Lee versus Captain America.
Okay, well in that case it's the same actor.
Yes.
Captain America, duh. Like,
But
not even hard.
Lucas Lee also has super strength. And that's Captain America's only thing, is he has super strength, and Lucas Lee has super strength and a bunch of not so Chris Evans looking people that can beat people up on his behalf.
But the thing is, right, Lucas Lee is dumb as bricks. And is easily goaded.
Yes.
And
Yes.
our boy Captain America has the
Can do this all
willpower
day.
of a... First, he can do this all day. And secondly, has the willpower of a fucking ox. So, I don't know. I reckon that Captain America would... He would whoop his ass. Or he'd goad him into doing something really stupid. It's not...
Like, hey, look at this shield. Oh, he like goes over and looks at it and just whacks him in the head with it.
There we go.
Yeah.
You know, shield to the head. That's gonna be it.
I was more thinking about like his crew. Can Captain America beat up all of those people at the same time? Now that I say it out loud, of course he can.
Yeah, of course. Duh.
It's not even a fight, is it?
It's not even a fair fight. Like, you know, Captain America will be done with it and drinking coffee at the same time. Like, it's not. Come on.
Okay, I should have thought that through a bit better. Anyway, number two, which is definitely not two actors who are the same person.
Two actors who are the same person, huh?
No, two characters who are the same actor. There we go.
It's
definitely not that.
Okay.
Except it is. It's Todd, X number 3.
Yep.
Versus Superman. It's vegan powers versus Superman powers.
I don't know. Like, there is something to be said for vegan powers, because vegan powers. That being said, Superman has laser eyes. Like...
Yes.
And is basically made out of, like, steel or whatever. I don't think vegan powers are quite that strong.
But can't he do the... You know, when, like, Scott goes to punch him, and he just, like, freezes him. Can't he just do that?
I think that's more to do with Scott being a weak bitch.
Interesting reflection on the movie, but sure.
He is.
Okay.
He's got noodle arms.
My biggest issue is Superman doesn't have any highlights in his hair for Todd to punch out.
Good point. Well made. The question is, are we going on Superman film logic, or are we going on Scott Pilgrim film logic?
Well, this is Superman from one of the Superman films. But you have to they both have the respective laws of their... Because the laws of both worlds don't actually contradict each other. Technically.
Not technically, but I think they would mix very weirdly, you know?
Yeah. But also, Superman can't play the guitar. Todd can.
Yeah, but
and we know Todd loves a good guitar riff off.
I don't think that would be... Do we know that Superman can't play the guitar? Actually, it's the bass. But,
yeah.
Like, hold on, we're gonna look this up. Can Superman play the guitar? I'm not getting very useful things. I'm getting a lot of, like, how to play it.
Let's take it from a different perspective.
Oh god,
The only way Scott could beat Todd was to trick him. Wasn't it? He tricked him as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Into drinking. So, is Superman, who's meant to be all good and truth and everything, is he above doing a trick like that?
Now the thing is, that's because Todd can mind read, right?
Todd can mind read.
That's
so yeah,
why
he
he
knows
knows.
All the moves. Yeah.
But Superman, I don't know if he'd be able to mind read Superman, because Superman isn't exactly human.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Superman is impervious to being mind read.
So I'm pretty sure that, you know, the rules are different, you know? This is what I mean by how would the rules interact, because...
Yeah.
So, canonically, I'm going to look up Superman's powers, because I'm not entirely sure. I know there's a lot.
That depends. If it's the movie version, which is the one where it's the same actor, then probably doesn't have anti-mind reading capabilities.
Okay, so the fandom account for it is flight, superhuman strength, X-ray vision, heat vision, cold breath, super speed, enhanced hearing, and nigh invulnerability. Yikes, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But it really depends on which version you're talking about.
Yes.
Basically, I reckon that look, Superman's got super speed, right? Todd does
Yes.
not.
True.
Superman could just go really fast and snap his neck.
Okay. Like all slightly bad Superman movies, it ends with a neck snapping.
Yeah. Because there have been
Okay.
too many neck snaps for it not to be a neck snap.
Fantastic.
I guess that's the answer to that.
Scott Pilgrim universe is not doing very well against everyone.
Well, it's a very highly stylized universe.
Okay. That's all I have for Showdown Throwdown.
Okay.
How about we move on to a new release? That was your suggestion.
Sure. So, new release, I was going through Netflix for new releases because this is where we have sunk to, and I came across Dangerous Lies, which at a first glance I was like, this looks like a budget Knives Out, which I saw in the cinemas was really good.
It's nothing like
but
that.
But it's not, and I'm glad.
So I need to watch Knives Out now that we talk about. No, anyway.
Coming back to the point. The point is that this is I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I did. I did have to pause it a couple times because there are just a couple moments that. Okay, so I don't deal well with being uncomfortable, right? So So, like, when I get uncomfortable in a film, whether it's because of cringe or whatever, I have to pause the film, give it a few minutes, then come back to it. I had to do that a couple times.
I had to watch it in 2 sittings.
Yeah.
But anyway, spoilers ahead for everyone, because I intend to go somewhat in-depth on this.
Oh, good. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the boyfriend, Adam.
Played by... You're going to love this. So, I can't remember his name, but he plays A-Train in The Boys. Good show. Go watch it.
Okay.
But also, he plays the son in a film that me and Kayla know quite well, called Shaft.
Do we?
That me and Kayla happened to play a drinking game at New Year's.
Oh.
While watching.
Oh, that film.
And he plays the son in that film.
Oh my god, I thought I recognized him. Oh my god. Okay, I'd like to mention at this point.
Told you we had fun facts.
I do not remember most of Shaft, mostly because it's a very...
It's a good film, watch it.
It's a good drinking game for a film. It's good for drinking too. But I was quite drunk.
We don't endorse drinking.
Do we not?
No.
Okay, you don't. I'm not going to say anything about it either way. Regardless, I don't remember most of that film, which is...
I told you I had some fun facts about it.
Anyway, speaking
of him... So you
wanted
to talk husband? Person.
Yeah, husband. Yeah, husband. He was husband opposed to boyfriend. So, until, like, maybe the last 5-10 minutes, I was like, this bitch is guilty. He is guilty.
Yes,
He's acting guilty as fuck.
Yes,
and then he
definitely.
wasn't, and that kind of threw me for a loop, And I don't know. On the one hand, I think it was kind of nice that he wasn't. On the other, Yeah,
it was a bit. I'll be honest. The whole kind of plot confused me a little bit. Like, I had to go watch like a video to kind of understand what all the threads, what was going on.
Really? Oh, I followed the whole thing.
I sort of followed it, but also like I was a bit kind of like, so he wasn't guilty this whole time, but he was just acting guilty the whole time.
I think it's just because, okay, so his characterization in the film was meant to be, he really, really hated being poor, and now that he isn't poor, he doesn't see why he needs to continue acting poor.
Yes.
Which, understandable. I kind of get it. But at the same time, he really should have listened to his wife more. I kind of wanted him to be guilty, because he did not treat that girl right.
No, speaking of the wife,
Mm.
she's played by Camila Mendes,
Yes.
who is Veronica in Riverdale.
That's what I recognise it from.
Let's just say one of the characters in Riverdale I'm somewhat okay with.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave the Riverdale rant for another day.
All right.
But yeah, she is, I think, by far the best performance in the whole thing.
Oh yeah, her acting was on point.
She's running rings around everyone, which is a shame because the guy who plays the husband is a really good actor. Again, watch the Boys, good film. Anyway, good show. Anyway, she's doing a really good performance, and everything is kind of spiraling around her, which I quite like. I kind of like it in stories when kind of there's a character who we're like who's like the surrogate for us, and then everything's kind of spiraling around her.
Yeah.
That's quite fun. I kind of enjoy those kind of films sometimes. Just she's not actually doing anything really.
No, she's just sort of there.
And just everything is like chaotic around her.
Yeah.
Like there were conspiracies on top of conspiracies on top of conspiracies.
There are several layers of plot here.
Yeah, do you want to run down the plot? I can.
Okay, so the basic outline of the plot is, so it opens with, so you have the main character whose name I've forgotten.
Katie.
Huh?
Katie.
Katie, yeah, Katie. So you have your main character Katie, and she's working in a diner, and this diner gets like robbed, like
Yes.
while she's like, and it starts while she's on her break, and it continues when she goes back to work. Now her husband happened to be there that night studying.
Yes.
And
the guy who robbed them, is from the university that the husband's from.
Yeah.
By coincidence.
It's a coincidence. Regardless, the husband decides that he's going to play the hero and disarms the robber and
forgets he doesn't have super speed. Sorry, that's a boys' joke. Everyone, go watch it.
Okay. Anyway, so a few months go past, and Katie, our main character, is now working, caring for this guy Leonard, who is 89, old, late 80s. And
I could be mistaken, but I'm fairly sure he's the guy from the Ocean's films.
I don't know. I haven't seen them.
I could be mistaken. No, I'm fairly sure he is. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyways, so this guy Leonard is very old. He lives on his own in this huge house. He never married, and he doesn't have any family. Okay, so Katie's looking after him. They're friends, you know.
He's helping her out with like money problems. They're like that kind of friends. Like he doesn't have many people in his life, so you know he's friends with who he does have in his life. You know.
Yeah. Anyways, so Katie asks him if he could give her husband a job because he desperately needs a job because he dropped out of university, and he's like, yeah, I need a gardener because the last gardener kind of just went missing after a while. I don't really know what went on there. This is important. We're coming back to that.
Just saying that him dropping out of university and everything.
Yeah.
They seem to make it out like it was all because of him acting a hero in the diner.
Yeah.
I got that impression. She was like, oh, why'd you have to act all like the hero?
Yeah.
What's that got to do? Why would you drop out of university if you saved some people from a shooting in a diner?
I really don't know. That bit of the plot doesn't really make sense to me, but I decided to move past it.
This is why some of the things kind of confused me.
Anyways, so Leonard unexpectedly dies one evening after Katie goes home, and later on at the funeral a will turns up, and apparently
a will that didn't exist previously until this person showed up.
So this person's name is, I can't remember, but she's a lawyer.
Was it Julia?
Yeah, Julia. So you have Julia Byron Kim. Yeah.
Yes, because she's named after the
poet. Yeah.
Yes.
And she turns up with this will, and is like, he's left everything to you. And Katie is now the owner of this massive house and anything that Leonard had in accounts.
Yes.
Which is like, huh.
And has the weirdest
Interesting.
reaction in the world. Like, to find out that your 4 months time employer has left everything to you.
Yeah.
Who just died. And she just starts giggling.
I
And
mean...
I'm like, I feel like there'll be a bit more emotional processing. Like, this person died that you, like, you were, like, close with.
Yeah.
And he's left everything to you. I feel like there'd be a bit more of a...
I think there would be a bit more shock. Like, more shocked giggling, but it was just happy giggling, so it's like, regardless.
Anyway, so she's got the house and everything in it.
Yeah. And things quickly spiral, as it were. Before they get the house, they find in the attic, because they're just like,
It's worth noting that, like, almost an hour of the hour and a half film has gone by before they get, like, up to when they get the house.
Yeah. It's weirdly
It's a really
paced.
slow open.
Yeah. So, before they get the house, they find in the attic, because they're just in the house, I think, Katie's grabbing some of her stuff or whatever, they find in the attic, like, this chest with, like, a whole load of, like, loose change in it, basically, like, a whole load of notes. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of money. So, they're like, no, we gotta leave it. Well, Katie's like, we've got to leave it. Adam's like, well, who would know? Which is why I started suspecting him.
Because he's super guilty.
Yeah.
He does super guilty things for no reason.
Yeah. Regardless, he sneaks back into the house later and, like, counts it out. And then someone, like, breaks into the house and knocks him out. So, that's an interesting point.
It's worth noting that the characters never find out who that was.
Yeah, it's a mystery that is never solved.
Like, I'm fairly sure we found out who it was, but they never did.
Yeah, they never know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Bit weird.
So they decide that for the moment they're just going to put all of these dollar bills into a safe, like in a bank, like in a safe box. Which, understandable, I would probably do the same thing. So they now own the house and everything in it, which means they do own this money now, which is fine. Now, Katie is, like, poking around, doing some decorating, whatever, and she goes into the shed at the back of the garden, and
finds
a secret room, and also a dead body. And
because of course she does.
Of course she does, and she freaks out, which is understandable.
Yes.
Turns out, dead body is the gardener, the one who hasn't turned up for a hot second. And he's got these diamonds, right? And hence the plot thickens. We've also got a recurring character, Hayden, who is apparently, like, a real estate agent who keeps trying to buy the house.
He is the smarmiest real estate guy
in the world. Oh my God.
Google a picture of him and just look at his hair.
Yeah.
And you'll know.
Yeah, he talks like he looks.
Yes.
Anyways, going quickly through the rest of the plot, because the rest of the plot is complicated, but it boils down to Hayden and Julia and this guy, the gardener, Ethan, all, like, robbed a jewelry store years ago.
No, sorry, that's
no.
correct.
Julia didn't. Julia didn't. She is a lawyer, but she's like...
She's a lawyer.
She's
who
been, like...
represented Hayden.
Yeah.
Or something, or, like, heard his story.
And he basically said, look, I will give you a lot of the diamonds if you do me good. And she was like, okay. So she's in it for the money as well.
And he probably said it exactly like that as well.
Yeah, literally just, okay. Anyways, so Hayden and this guy Ethan robbed a jewellery store, but...
for $3 million worth of diamonds.
Hayden got caught, Ethan didn't, so Ethan absconded with the diamonds, and Hayden... Is it ever actually shown who killed Ethan? Because I don't really know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Anyway, he dies with the diamonds on him, pretty much. Someone shoots him. I'm fairly sure
that Ethan turned on Hayden.
Yeah.
There was a shootout. He got shot. By Hayden.
Yeah.
And then he escaped and then died.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
From the gunshot wound, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the reason only Hayden got caught.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hayden spends some time in jail. And then he comes back to the house looking for the diamonds, which is why he wants to buy the house so he can have time to look for the diamonds. But that's not going to happen.
Yes.
So he starts like hassling Katie and stuff until one day when he decides he's just going to like break and enter pretty much.
Yes.
And at the same time, and so Adam like hears him and like goes out with a gun. Well, no. Katie goes to the bathroom or something. Hayden like grabs her and is like threatening her with a gun. And then there's like a shootout between Adam and Hayden, and they both die. But Julia also turns up. Oh my god!
Yes.
And
so they had the numbers.
Oh
really.
my god! So many people die right at the end.
It was all carefully planned.
Yeah. So Julia turns up at the end and is like, "Where are the diamonds?" And
Katie's like, "I don't know.
No.
Only Adam knew."
Except for the fact that Adam literally told her where they were in the garden. It's like his dying words.
And then she then, because Julia then gets arrested.
No, Julia gets shot.
Oh, Julia gets shot, and then
by the detective.
Yes, the detective shows up, and then and it like cuts to 4 months later, and like Katie's doing gardening,
and she's pregnant.
And the detective's like, "Did you ever find the diamonds?" And she's like,
No,
I don't know where they are. Even though she does know, because they're on the and they're not even like hidden. They're just on the top of the
they're
soil.
Just on top of the soil, and like they are uncovered when the sprinkler turns on. So I don't really know what's going on there because they're really obvious.
Yeah. Also, what did Leonard have any idea what was going on? I couldn't tell. Like,
I don't think so.
Does he? Because there was the money.
Yeah.
But that money is Leonard's.
Yeah.
And nothing to do with the rest of the plot.
Yeah, it's just like an extra thing thrown in because I don't know, we want to make Adam look guilty.
Leonard like, but then the one that isn't Hayden.
Yeah.
I've forgotten his name already. Oh,
Ethan.
Because when did he die? Did Leonard know about that?
I don't think so, no.
So Leonard just never went in the shed?
Yeah, presumably.
Also, who made the secret room?
I don't know. Ethan, presumably?
It's all just stuff.
It feels a bit unfinished, plot-wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's Dangerous Lies.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think in general it was quite an enjoyable film. It's a good way to waste 2.5 hours.
I didn't like how it looked.
Did you not?
I didn't like the aesthetic. It was all too dark.
Well, I think it suited the aesthetic.
I was watching it on like my proper like fancy screeny things. Right. It was all too dark, and I couldn't even make it out. It was like, ugh. Okay. But yeah, I basically just liked Katie. That was
yeah. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
And Leonard. Leonard was
yeah.
Good.
Katie and Leonard, they're my babes. Everyone else can die. I don't care.
Everyone else pretty much did die.
Yeah, apart from the
Except
detective.
Actually, I like the detective.
Yeah, we like the
character. She's there.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know what's going on, and we're like, of course you do. Adam's totes guilty.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah.
But he dies anyway, so I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Talking about things that are finished
Movies.
And unfinished, Terraria is now finished. The final update came out a couple weeks ago now, and I have finally had the time and the energy to actually play some.
And I was going to play it, and I didn't, so I'm just going to listen to you. You're going to explain to me and the audience.
Oh, no! Okay, so there's a couple of things that have changed in the main game. We'll address those first. So the main difference is that they've added NPC happiness, which actually I think is very smart and isn't as annoying as I thought it would be.
Yeah, you thought that was going to be like a real issue.
It really wasn't. It took me like half an hour to fix it. It was fine.
Flashback to a few weeks ago. Just add in like the audio.
Do you really want me to do that?
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so NPC happiness. So each NPC has certain biomes they like to be in, certain levels, so like whether they want to be on the surface or underground or in the caverns, and certain other NPCs that they like to be around. So you've got a whole load of maths here, and I did the maths because I'm a nerd and I like maths. I've got a diagram. I have a spreadsheet showing where they should all be.
I support the spreadsheet.
I'll send you the spreadsheet if you'd like.
Send me the spreadsheet so that when I finally do get around to playing it,
sure,
I'd be good.
So and basically it's actually quite a useful thing because you end up with 2 to 3 NPCs in each sort of biome, which if you have a small world like mine doesn't really affect you all that much. But if you're in like a medium or a big world, it's going to make a huge difference because once you get their happiness high enough, you can buy like basically teleport pads to go to the other places where the NPCs are. So are you in the ocean biome and you want to get all the way over to the other side of the map to the jungle biome? Teleport.
I do love a teleport.
Which is really useful, and I wish they'd come out with it like a year ago because then I wouldn't have created the goddamn mine tracks that I did.
Oh my god, I love those feelings in games.
Oh
like
my
when
god.
They give you, like when they, like, you get it when they update a game, or you get it when like you do a second playthrough through something.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I could use a teleport. Oh, I built all those mine tracks. Oh.
I spent so many hours building like an underground mine track from one side of my world to the entire other. I have a mine track that spans the entirety of my world. It took me ages. It actually took me recruiting some of my friends to help me build it. Yeah, seriously though. So, yeah, I'm not going to get rid of it because it is quite useful, but I really wish, the teleport had been there. But regardless. So, and they've also added a whole load of new like scenarios, I guess. So they've added more weather things. So there's now a storm and also floating slime. Like slime just attached to balloons, which is weirdly charming.
Now that's what Slime Rancher was missing.
Yeah, it's just balloons tied to slimes. Yeah. And it's got a whole load of new things, including kites, which I love, and golf, which is surprisingly fun. It's actually really good. I'm just going to leave that there. Now, new modes. I have not tried the extra hard mode because I don't even use the normal hard mode, so we're not going anywhere near that. But journey mode, I love it. I didn't think I was going to love it, but I do. It is oh gosh, how to explain it? So, the way that they've done it is they've left it... Okay, so it's more like an accessibility thing as opposed to anything else. It is not sandboxy. It is not as sandboxy as you think it would be. So the whole way that it works is that... so usually, whatever resources you gather, that's how many you have. Now, the way that you can do things in journey mode is you can put things... You have to gather a certain amount of said material. So, like wood, for example, you have to gather 100 wood. And then you can just create endless wood, if you so please. Which, in terms of gameplay, actually makes life a lot easier and a lot quicker. Because you don't have to continuously chop down trees. Which... is annoying, let me tell you. Yeah. The biggest changes are the replicator, and also, so you can set the time, so you can set it to dawn, noon, dusk, or night. You can also freeze time, which I actually really appreciate.
Okay, sure.
It's actually like a really nice little feature.
That's getting a
Because
little bit too Sonic the Hedgehog there.
a little bit, but the point here is you can freeze the like the. Okay, so different things happen at different times. So you
Yeah.
only get shooting stars at night. You also only get zombies at night. So if you don't want zombies, you can just stick it at like noon. Also, you can't see in the dark. They've upgraded the light mechanics a little bit. The light mechanics were already pretty good, but now it's like dark.
Okay.
So for adventuring, you want it to be like the middle of the day because then you can see things.
Yeah.
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 They've also added like powers and stuff like that. So God mode, which is what I've got it on right now because I enjoy that, means you just can't be killed. You just don't lose HP.
Yeah.
Which I actually kind of really like because it makes it more of an adventuring game as opposed to like a fighty game.
I've always found games more interesting. So a lot of games, like obviously, you start out not in God mode,
Yeah.
and then you slowly kind of level up, upgrade or whatever, and you basically become God mode.
Yeah.
I always think games get way more interesting when you are God mode and they can then just do things.
Yes, it's totally same. And this allows you to do it from the beginning.
And that's the case for like all kinds of different games.
Yeah.
Like you can have a lot more fun when you're just enjoying doing things without having to worry about things like fighting and health and stuff.
Or dying in lava.
That too.
Yeah, I may have fallen in lava one too many times and I'm a bit salty about it. Oh
my god, that's me in every game of Minecraft.
Oh my god. I have died so much in lava, you have no idea. But I have God mode on. I got down to the underworld really, really quickly, like within my first like 2 hours of playing the game, which if you've played Terraria before, then you know that's pretty quick. There's going to be a speedrunner out there like, that's not quick. Shut up. And I fell directly into lava, and I didn't die, and it was the happiest day of my life. I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a really nice accessibility tool as well. So, like, you know, if your reflexes are not that good, or if you don't enjoy, like the monster part of Terraria, you can just turn that off. That being said, you can also not turn it off and increase the difficulty for yourself. The difficulty is completely, controllable. So you can control enemy spawn rate, difficulty, stuff like that. How much stuff the enemies, like the quality of stuff enemies will drop, I think.
It's a customizable experience more so than other things.
Yes, and it's really fun.
That always just leads to more possibilities of gameplay. It stops the game getting old, which is always really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Which makes sense considering it's the last update. You know, if you're gonna push things to not make the game ever get old, then, customizing basically all these things are always good.
Yeah, so I've been really enjoying myself with that. You should definitely play it.
I will do.
I'll send you the NPC. Okay, if anyone wants the NPC spreadsheet of like which NPCs live together nicely, like comment or something, and I will post a link to it. Oh my god, that's so dumb. I did spend quite a lot of time on it though.
I'm gonna briefly talk about some gaming stuff because I haven't got that much to say.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about something I've been doing the last couple of days. I was inspired by YouTube.
Oh dear.
And there's a streamer who I follow who's on attempt number 11 of trying to Nuzlocke Pokemon Platinum.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what a Nuzlocke is.
I have no idea.
So it's a rule set where you can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in each area. If a Pokemon faints, they then are dead and you can't use them anymore.
Okay.
it's a challenge basically.
Okay.
So my idea on that, because I could do Nuzlocke reasonably. I'm okay. I'm average at them.
Yeah.
You know, they have technique, and I'm not the best. My challenge was I wanted to take it a step further. So one of the things you can do with Pokemon games is you can randomize them, so that you basically have random Pokemon appear and random trainer Pokemon and everything like that. All the items are randomized, so it's basically just a free for all where you never know what's going on.
Okay.
And they're pretty fun. I've kind of played a few of them, and but they weren't quite the challenging aspect that I wanted, because still they very much, you know what's going on, you know the games, nothing fundamentally about the games is changing, except all the things that you know to be true are still the same.
Yeah.
Like same type, same. What I then decided to do was, what if I took it a step further and randomized things?
Right.
So, for example, Pokemon types are different to what they are in the games. So, for example, Pikachu, usually an electric type, for example, in this could be a rock and a ground type, which is completely different.
Okay.
And the point is, you don't know what the Pokemon type are unless you catch them, obviously, and you can only catch one Pokemon per route, so you're always going to be going into battles not knowing at all what Pokemon type they have or what moves they have.
Look, I didn't know you were a masochist, but like,
so I set this up, and I've tweaked the settings a little bit, done some testing to try and find one that's reasonable, that's fair, in the sense of the word. And I've basically been trying to do this. It's Pokemon Platinum. I'm currently on attempt 4. I have not got further than the the second gym.
Okay.
Out of 8, and the Elite Four and everything.
Oh gosh.
So,
how long have you been playing?
So I've done 4 attempts. I'm able to fast forward because of the emulator. So, I've probably in total spent 4 hours so far. Maybe 5 or 6.
I have really I have no frame.
No, so
for like how fast the Pokemon game normally goes.
So that it goes roughly the same speed as a normal Pokemon game, because everything is all the same. But it's very easy to lose, and I have to start over from scratch.
Okay.
So I start over with a different set of randomized things and different things. So everything I learn doesn't help me because it starts over.
Do you like punishing yourself?
So I've kind of set this as a challenge. I'm slowly starting to learn strategies. So in these games, there's a Pokemon who has a type which is Dark Ghost, and nothing is super effective on it. And there's an ability which goes on a different Pokemon that means only super effective moves hit it, right? So I managed to get a starter that was Dark Ghost with this ability, so it's invincible, it can't be hit. And I still lost.
Oh my
god. That's the one I got furthest on. But I still lost, because I had a Pokemon, I couldn't hit them, they confused me, I hit myself and killed... Anyway, so this has been my challenge. I have 4 attempts in. And oh my god. It is exhausting. But it's really fun.
I would imagine
it's really fun.
So, yeah.
And I'm starting to realise now I'm going to have to strategize. I'm thinking of making a spreadsheet where I track what each Pokemon types are, based on what moves I use on them and what's super effective, so that I can know what to use.
Yeah, that really sounds like the only way you're going to be able to get through this.
So that's been my gaming stuff for the week, and I'm going to keep going and see how it goes. I want to complete the game. Will I be able to? Probably not. So basically you lose because your Pokemon die, inverted commas, when they faint. You lose by having all members of your party faint in the battle. So usually that would send you back to the Pokemon Center, you'd heal up and then try again. But under the Nuzlocke rule set, because they've all died, you've died and you've lost. You have to restart. So it's really like the early game is really difficult.
Yeah.
It's just and training, you can't
So-
even like. Usually training is really easy, but you can't because you're going against wild Pokemon that you don't know their types, their moves. So wild Pokemon could just hit you with a move you didn't expect them to have, and you lose. And it's like
Yikes.
So yeah, that's been my thing. If anyone enjoys Pokemon games and wants a challenge, then go for it.
And wants to punish themselves.
Yeah, get an emulator, get a ROM, randomize it. Yeah, if you comment down, I'll give you the settings that you can use on it. But it's really difficult. It's really
I'd
it's
imagine
really difficult.
so.
But really fun as well.
Okay. And with that, I think that's it.
That is all we have time for today.
Yeah. So tune in next week for more related shenanigans.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this week ended up more normal than last week. My
yes,
God.
This has been much more. I want to say sane, but that's not really a good summary on what our content
it's not really
is
good
like.
Yeah, it's really not. But it's more normal shenanigans as opposed to whatever last week was.
More normal shenanigans. So we hope you will tune in next week.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye.